So this is called harassment, and it was inspired after the Anita Hill trials in was it the 80s or early 90s? And George Herbert Bush, this George Bush Sr., he would say this word harassment he would say it harassment. He would say that as if there were a new way to say this word, and saying it in such a way gave it a distraction away from what was actually going on in the Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas trials. So, harassment for the many women I've known who faced it. Her ass meant that guys could freely look at her as she walked along the streets in her neighborhood. She didn't feel safe. Her ass meant that her dad would dote over her, protecting her, but really oppressing her, suppressing her need to express herself and explore the world around her. She didn't feel any safer. Her ass meant that her brothers were excused when they broke the rules, but she was treated with a harsh and heavy hand. She didn't feel safe. Her ass meant that she could get what she wanted if she was willing to play the right game. She began leading people on with her ass, getting them to do all sorts of favors for her. She still didn't feel safe. Her ass meant that when she got rough with the boys who abused her, she was told that being rough was not ladylike. Her brothers would stand up against her bullies. They were taught not to abuse girls because girls were weak and need to be looked after. She didn't feel safe. Her ass meant that she could not wear fitted clothes without getting teased on the street. And the shopkeeper that delivers to her house even gives her looks that make her feel dirty. She didn't feel safe opening her own door. Her ass meant that her elders would tell her stories of girls getting harassed, wives getting abused, mothers being murdered, and grandmothers being ill treated, regularly reading the newspaper articles of innocent little girls just like her. She didn't feel any safer. Her ass meant that when her body started to change, her folks acted as if they loved her less, constantly telling her that she'd leave them one day anyway, so why bother? She didn't feel safe. Her ass meant anyone could comment on her weight. Once she was too thin and later too fat. She was never just okay. She didn't feel safe in her own body. Her ass meant she was expected to help out at home while her brothers got to study, play, and run around with friends. She didn't feel safe. Her ass meant that she didn't love herself because she believed it when everyone told her that she only needed to be pretty. She didn't feel safe around them. Her ass meant that she didn't have to do that well in school because she'd eventually marry, and her husband and his family would take care of her. She saw how her own grandmother made her mother suffer. She didn't feel any safer around them either. Her ass meant she didn't feel safe. Her ass meant that she grew up real fast and figured out a lot of things about her world. She began to hold her head up and strut faster, more determined. Her ass meant that she could see past people's bull and get them to the truth very quickly, but she never bossed people around or made them feel small simply because they had to lie. She understood people very well. She took every chance to tell them the truth. Her ass meant that she didn't have to adorn herself with expensive, gaudy trinkets to show off her wealth. She had learned that her genuine smile made her richer than anyone who stood by and stared with blank faces. Yes, even those too dumbfounded by her power and grace to smile back. She freely offered them smiles too. She made herself feel safe. Her ass meant that she knew that people would never be satisfied with themselves as long as they desired what others have. She felt more confident in her safe. Harassment meant that she felt safe in her own skin.